Morning, everybody. I got my little cup of decaf and I am here ready to chat with you about the Tao of the day. What's up, bitches? I am here to talk Tao of the day. Do you know what Tao of the day is? Well, if you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. I want you to step up and give me a number between 1 and 81, and I will read you a chapter of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written 600 BC, and it is full of interesting and the Tao Te Ching translates to the canon of reason. When we talk about something being the canon of, we talk about it being the source of or the culmination of reason, like living a reasonable life, living within a reasonable space, living with our minds intact. So Taoism, if you guys don't know, kind of runs in two tracks, right? There's the philosophical Tao, and there is the religious Taoism. Both of these are extremely, they're aligned, but they're not the same thing. Now, we are not talking about the religious Taoism here. We're not talking about gods, and we're not talking about anything other than the philosophical approach to a Taoist life. And there's no, like, I don't hold any, I don't want anything for you but the best, right? I want you to be able to get something out of this, and I want you to be able to have a little something to meditate on. The other day I was talking to someone, and we were having a chat, and they were really frustrated, and I was like, you know what, why don't you just give me a number? And they gave me a number, we read it, and they were like, that's so prophetic. I'm like, yeah, let's just sit here for a moment and just sit with it. We don't have to talk about it. We can just sit here and we can absorb the message of the life of reason, absorb the message of the Tao. So that's what we did. It was beautiful, and I want to share that with you. The Tao helped me get my 21 years clean and sober. If you guys don't know, that's what I have. I achieved that last month, and I'm really happy about that. But I also want you to understand that it's not the 21 years that's so important. It's the life that I'm leading that's so important. I don't, I decided to both piss and live clean rather than piss and clean and living dirty, which is what so many people can do. And this is why talk about sobriety as being a beverage choice and recovery being something that we do in our lives because of that, because we're sober. So, if you have a number between 1 and 81 that you would like to explore, I would love to explore that with you. If not, I will pick a number, and from there, maybe someone will jump on. So once again, this is Tao of the Day. And there's not just one Tao of the Day. We each have a Tao for the day. And I'm inviting you guys to come up and pick a number between 1 and 81. Why 1 and 81? There are 81 chapters in the Tao. So I'm going to pick 35 today. Today is 35 for good old Garcia. She who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. Wow. This is really kind of ties into a conversation I was having yesterday. She perceives the universal harmony even amid great pain because she has found peace in her heart. Music, or the smell of good cooking, may make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. So, what are your thoughts there, people? Wow. I'm going to go ahead and read that again, just because I think, and I like to take notes just in case someone else comes on and I got to come back to 35. So, she who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. She perceives the universal harmony even amid great pain, because she has found peace in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. So let me process this a little bit, because it's so often I find that as I read through a Tao, there are these two sections that don't seem to connect. They don't seem to be connected. Here we are. First we talk about she who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger, right? Even amidst great pain. So even though there may be danger lurking or danger happening in the moment, like I can perceive the universal harmony, but she had found a place in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking can make people stop and enjoy. And see, that's the thing, like music and the smell of good cooking, that is so different from uh, uh, being in being amongst great pain, right? Like the smell of good cooking um, and making people stop and enjoying things, that is not great pain, but it comes from the same place. That's kind of how I see these two connecting, right? Like great pain and great pleasure come from the same place. But words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. So the words that point to the Tao aren't either of those things, aren't great pain and are not great pleasure and are not delicious and are not like the smell of good cooking or music. When you look for it, when you look to pinpoint the Tao, there's nothing to see, there's nothing there. When you listen for it, there's nothing to hear. It just doesn't, it's not there. But when you use it, it's inexhaustible. I don't know that I've read this one with anybody yet. If anybody has an idea of what's going on here, I mean, I definitely have an idea of what's going on here. But I do want to, like taking that step back and to try and like piece it together in some way is interesting because they are not disparate. These aren't two disparate ideas. These are two ideas that are very, very connected. So she who is centered in the Tao. So I'm going to go through it line by line now, and we're going to see if we can kind of bring in any insight. She who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. Okay, so you can go where you wish without danger. Now uh, there's obviously danger in the world, and I want to point out that Stephen Mitchell uses he and she interchangeably. Here, he is using she, but I can say he just as easily. He who is centered in the Tao can go where he wishes without danger. I think in our day and age, when we utilize she in this Tao specifically, we think of the concept that women are weak and they can't go certain places and all of those things. So I want to just offer this up as we go through it line by line, including the he, just so we don't get muddled in the kind of constant conversation we have in the Western world, in the entire world, of she can't go somewhere, she can't do this because of who she is and what she's capable of. This is not talking about that, right? So I want to address this as he, and we do have somebody that wants to come up. Julie, my buddy Julie's coming up, and maybe she's going to talk about this, or she's going to pick another number. Either way, we are welcoming Julie. How you doing, hon?
Hello, lovely Martin. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that Millie has just integrated this. Like when you like, I'm gonna, my sobriety started with someone showing me just more respect than I had shown myself. And more respect than I had seen outside of in the world. And my goal is always to treat people with respect, no matter where they are, no matter how old they are and stuff. And it's really wonderful to hear that Millie has really like owned this for herself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I feel like that can only be done when someone shows you that when a stranger shows you just that little bit of love that
Yeah.
that you deserve. And so I just wanted to thank you for that update.
That's all right. Anytime. It was absolutely lovely. It's lovely to see in her. It's just lovely. Absolute gift you gave her there, and she really appreciated it. And she asked about you and said, "How's your friend?" And I said, "What, Martin?" She said, "Yeah." "Does he speak Spanish?" She said, "I'm doing Spanish lessons." And then I said, "Oh, you've got relatives in Spain?" And she said, "Oh, right, okay." She said, "Well, I'm doing Spanish at the minute." And she was all about you. You've made such a lovely impact talking to her, and she listened so well and soaked it in. She was just
What I would really love is I'm going to send you a link to my website and to ask her to sign up if she's interested, of course. Ask her to sign up for my email. That way she'll have contact information for me.
yes, that'd be lovely. She'd
And then
love
she
that.
can
That's
she I I'd
fab.
I'd be happy to be just a resource for her.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be brilliant. That'd be absolutely brilliant. I will do that. So
Yeah.
I tried actually. I tried to put in your website. I don't know what's going on. I don't think I've got it right. So if you can send me
Yeah.
it, then I can pop it in. That'd be wonderful. That'd be
I'm
great.
I'm going to do that like toot sweet right now.
You're brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Today we have my partner Brad and my lovely long-standing friend Vida from Lithuania. They are both sitting with me, and we are going to pick a number.
Oh,
And
look at this. This is Team
yeah,
Dow.
I am spreading your joy, Martin, because you're so great. I want to share you with everybody.
Share away.
So I'm going to ask Vida now, very quickly. Oh, she's having a wee, apparently. When she comes back from having a wee, don't tell her that you know. I will get her to pick the number for today. So it's for Vida. She's a wonderful person.
Vida
Here
is
she is.
such a beautiful
Vida,
name.
say hello to Martin.
Hello,
Here
Martin.
you are. I'm going to
Vida,
pass the
how
phone.
are you, dear? Are you from Lithuania? Is that right?
Yes,
Is
I
that right?
am.
I have Lithuanian blood in me as well.
Oh,
I don't know that
very
means
interesting.
anything, but it's like the Lithuanian flag is like like I'm sure there's a lot of pride in that and everything, but it's so ugly. I'm sorry, like the way that the colors next to each other, it's like beautiful colors. If they just kind of separated like the yellow and it's just like it's all right.
Oh, is a story about Lithuania flag. Is yellow is mean a sun.
You're right.
Red is it mean a people who lost their life in a war.
Hmm.
And green is a life where you look around greenery.
Yes, yes, I can see that, and I get that, and I don't know. Like when I started kind of understanding my history, I looked at the Lithuanian flag and I watched the Lithuanian national soccer team and stuff in qualifying and all of that sort of thing, and it's always like, man, that yellow and red just like, and with just a little bit of green here and there and stuff, and the green is
Marcelo.
separate. It's like sometimes it just makes me kind of go, I wish it was a little different. It's like I've never like chosen to get like a Lithuanian jersey or a flag, because I'm like, I just can't live with that. Like, love it, love my blood, but can't do that.
I'm from Lithuania and I don't have a flag.
Good.
Nothing
I'm
with a
I'm
flag.
from the States and I don't have a flag, but there are other reasons for that.
Right, pick a number, Vida.
Yeah.
We're picking number 7, please.
7. Do you know we're picking a number between 1 and 81. I just want to be sure you knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but the first number when she mentioned it, it came in my head 7.
Okay, we'll go into 7. Here is your Tao for the day. The Tao is infinite and eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself, thus it is present for all things. The master stays humble. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is at one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. Okay, so any initial thoughts from the group?
The group, I love that. This is for Vida. You are doing Vida's. I'm handing you to Vida today.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sharing you, Martin.
Thank you. I love to be
I'm
shared.
not used to share.
So Vida, I want to start by saying these little chapters are often very heavy, and they have a lot going on in them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through this line by line, and we're going to talk about each individual section. But if you have any initial thought, you can let me know. Anything?
Anything?
No.
Okay. Did any specific thing stand out to you?
From what you told me.
Any word or line?
No.
No. Do you remember it? I'm asking that as a serious question because sometimes you can hear things, but you don't know how to listen to it yet. And if you don't know how to listen to this, I would love to read it again so that you can.
I would say, can you read it again?
Yes, I'm going to read the whole thing one more time because this kind of writing isn't easy to process. And so let me read it again, and then at least you have a little bit of a head start on how to hear it now. Because before I read it, it might just be so foreign you don't even know how to listen. So I'm going to read it again. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why? Why is it infinite? Or why is it eternal? It was never born. Thus, it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself. Thus, it is present for all things. The master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is at one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled.
What do you think of that?
Any better?
It's very loads of thinking you need to do, isn't
Yes,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah, there is. Okay, we're going to go through this line by line, and we're going to break it down now. So, the Tao is infinite, eternal. Now, do you understand what the Tao and the Tao Te Ching is?
Just say what you think.
No.
No. Okay, beautiful. So, the Tao is kind of another term for the universe or consciousness.
Ether.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah, what is? It
What
kind of
was?
maybe another term for God, even. And so the Tao is infinite, eternal. And this isn't, I want you to know that I'm chill. Like, there's no reason to be nervous or no reason to, like, this is just fun. This should be fun.
Oh,
If
you're
it's not
lovely,
fun.
Martin. I wouldn't do this if you weren't wonderful. Honestly.
Okay, yeah.
I
just want you to know that this should be fun and it should be interesting. So
It's a thinker.
the Tao is infinite, eternal. So, God or the universe is infinite, eternal. We understand that, I think. We understand that. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I think we understand as well, but it's spelling it out specifically. Like, it is hard for us to conceive of something that has never been born, that never started. Because we started and we look at things in such a way that it's linear. There's a start and there's an end. But here, what we're expressing is like, I want you to understand the Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? Yeah. Because it was never born. Thus, it can never die. There's no beginning or end to it.
Yeah.
And then we come into this line that says, why is it infinite? Because it has no desire for itself. Thus, it is present for all beings. Does that mean anything to you, Vida?
Oh, so that means when planet is for us and we make decision how we live, are we?
Right. And as soon as we make a decision of how we live, we start to have desires, right?
Yeah.
We start to limit our ability to be present because when we make a decision, like if we make a decision to get married or if we make a decision to, go out on a bicycle trip, all of the all of the other options go away. And
Yeah.
that's good. But Julie, I know that like when you have opposition to people going on your bicycle trip,
Yeah.
you tense up.
Yes.
Right. And so, and this is why it has no desire for itself. This is the Tao. This isn't you, right? This isn't a life. This is all things,
Yeah.
right?
It's
When
everything.
it has no desire for itself, it can be present for all things. That means that no matter if you want to do something that's good or bad or healthy or unhealthy, the Tao will support you. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment there. But as soon as we collapse onto a desire for ourself, we can't be present for all things. And that's okay. The Tao is present for all things, and the Tao is present for us to make that desire if we wish.
Yeah.
The master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. What does that mean to you?
So that's who makes the planet.
In your life, what how could you stay behind and get ahead at the same time?
So because who created the world, he's not living in a world. So he's staying behind.
Oh, in support of.
Say that
Is
again,
that what you're
Martin.
saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like who made it the world? They're not living in the world, so they staying behind. They
Yeah.
watching
Right.
our decisions, how we live.
Yes. And then and they don't, and they can still be ahead because we are looking to that. We are looking to that which is ahead, but they are ahead, but in their having created everything, they stayed behind.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. That
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful way of looking at it. And then we see here it says she is detached from all things. That is why she is at one with them. Is there somewhere in your life that you can see where your detachment can help you connect more?
No. No.
What about when
No?
you're sitting at home on your own? If you're sitting at home on your own and you're just with you, how about times like that?
Maybe.
That's
Okay, I'll
kind of
do.
You know, like like sometimes when you're sitting at home alone and then you just get like the urge to cook, and then all of a sudden you're cooking and then your partner or a friend comes by and it's like, "Oh wait, I have food for everybody and I had no idea that I was going to be making food for other people."
Oh, that
You know,
happens quite often.
yeah. And that is why when you are detached, you can be at one with all things. You can kind of see into the future. Because you let go of yourself, you're perfectly fulfilled. Just by being quiet in yourself, you can fulfill yourself completely.
Okay.
which I think you do quite often anyway. I don't think you notice it, but you do fulfill yourself. You know, you do that. You're good at that. Yeah.
Most of the time by myself. Am I?
Oh yes, yes.
And that's why, like by being detached from other things, you can be at one with them. You don't have to have your desire placed upon them.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Oh, Vida, thank you so much. Julie, you as well. Okay. You guys, yeah, we do have there. Julie's coming back on. Good. Good, good, good. Um, I know that ended really because we were talking about the Lithuanian flag.
I wanted to round us up, Martin. I never leave
Yeah,
you like that. This doesn't feel
yeah.
right.
It was a bruffs.
Yeah. So thank you for talking to Vida. She is a very close friend of mine, and I wanted her to experience the
Yeah,
Tao.
I
Yeah.
want to. I sent you a link to my website, but I just sent you another link to this chapter. so
Yes.
that you guys can look at it and just kind of mull it over a little bit. Like we talked a little bit about it. And so maybe that can start you somewhere. Now you can start thinking about the difference between like, what is, because in that first sentence, in the first section, the Tao is infinite eternal. What is eternal? Why is it eternal? Never born, never can die. Why is it infinite? No desire, present for all beings. That talks about the Tao.
Yes.
The second part talks about the master. That's the person who follows the Tao, the person who understands and remembers the Tao.
Yeah.
The master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. Like with you and your friends and all of these things, sometimes telling everybody how much you know, telling everybody that, oh, you can lead them or you can guide them, that doesn't necessarily make you a leader.
That's right.
Sometimes being a leader in your friend group or in your neighborhood or in your country means that you have to listen to other people more than you tell them about yourself.
Yeah.
And then she is detached from all things. That way, that is why she is at one with them. You can, like I said, with like cooking, like you can just be detached, and then all of a sudden you just start doing something that you just, that's the right thing to do. What I like to say is that's the most obvious thing. Now the next most obvious thing is, oh, I'm going to cook a meal. Okay. And then 2 hours later, someone walks into your house and you're like, I can feed you.
Usually me.
Yeah. And that becomes something that like you are in touch with something greater than your mind. You're in touch with something greater than your brain. You're in touch with Julie. And Julie makes a decision. I'm going to go see my friend Vida. And then
Yeah.
you stand up and go, oh, I'm going to get a visitor. You don't say that, but that's just what happens.
Yeah. We usually tend to, we know of each other's existence at all times, but the magic is when we come together, and we don't know when that's going to be, do we? Really?
No.
It just arrives, and then it's a lovely time that we have. That is the Tao.
Yes, that's the Tao.
That,
And like I said, Julie, I sent to your WhatsApp the link to this so you guys can look at it and parse it out, because it's difficult to be live on here, and it's funny. Vida, this is just something I noticed. You have, when we were talking and you were nervous, your Lithuanian accent came out a lot stronger than when we're just talking with Julie. And so that's why I wanted to take some time and just kind of try and help you relax a little bit into it. Because when that happens, like we're not present, we're nervous and we have something on our mind and we're thinking about things and we have to have the right answer and stuff.
it's a
And
barrier
so,
to a degree. It's
yeah.
something you have to deal with rather than being free flowing. Yeah.
Right.
Unexpected. Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
I'm gonna come and try to discuss about the world.
Yes, and I want you to know that, like, when, like, just like you do when you sit at home alone and you cook, this is the same. It just happens to be here, and when Julie happens to come over and you have food, when you happen to be invited to talk somewhere, you have the content in you, and that's something that we don't often think about. We often first get scared. We say, uh-oh, I have to do something and I have to do it in this way. And I don't know what that way is, but any way that you do it, you're right. And just like having food in your fridge, you have content in your mind and you have yourself within you that brings this about. So I just wanted, that revolves so much around confidence and other things like that. And you being from Lithuania, that, like you might feel smaller sometimes. And when that happens, you could accidentally think that you are smaller, but you're not, dear.
Thank you.
She is absolutely marvelous, and I tell her that all the time. She is lovely, absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Martin. And
Absolutely.
Dare you.
Love you guys, and we will be in touch again.
We will. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.
Ciao. What a wonderful, wonderful gift that was. Like not only talking to someone that I've never talked to before, but also being able to express, because I speak another language, so I speak Spanish, and it's important to just remember that just because you're speaking another language or that you're engaging with somebody, like I want to engage with you. It's so often that you get this idea. We have these ideas in our minds of like where we lack, and as soon as those things come to the surface, we get nervous. And when I heard Vida's accent come out, I was like, oh, as soon as that happens, if you're talking to somebody and they're talking just fine, and then you say something and you hear their accent come out, that's oftentimes when they've just gotten a little like, uh-oh, I don't know what's happening. And it's okay. Like, but it is our job to be caring for those people as well, to sit back and to understand that, hey, this person might be getting triggered, this person might be getting a little nervous, and I want to communicate. And if you want to communicate, you will listen and you will pay attention. And just like it says here in the Tao that Vida picked, she is detached from all things. That is why she is at one with them. I can be at one with Vida because I'm not here trying to say that, like, well, you have to listen to, like, if my expectation is you have to understand what I'm saying, well, then I immediately put everybody I talk to on the back foot. Because she's let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. I'm perfectly fine with taking extra time and talking, and even, like, relating with Vida, because I was talking about the flag and other things like that. That's so important to me, and it is a little thing that's in the back of my mind all the time, where it's just like, I want to be able um to like the the Lithuanian flag, but um the yellow green red is or the yellow red green, where the green and the yellow, which would go best together, in visually, they got that red in the middle, and so there's this vibratory sort of thing between that red and the green, and it's really like, just for me in my eyes, disturbing. So that was all of that, what that was about. But I'm going to go back to 35, and we're going to look at 35. If anybody wants to come on and has a number, please reach out to me. So I'm going to reread this really quickly. She who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. She perceives the universal harmony even amid great pain. Because she has found peace in her heart, even amid great pain, because she has found peace in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there's nothing to see. When you listen for it, there's nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. So we were talking earlier about this concept of being centered in the Tao and perceiving the universal harmony, even amid great pain. Great pain is something that we can't avoid. I know since the 70s we've been trying to really initiate and instill this idea of toxic positivity around everybody and everything that we revolve ourselves with. We want to think positive and stuff. And even here on Wisdom, there's a lot of that think positive stuff, integrity stuff, and all of these things. But I think so much of that is misplaced. Because yes, you can control your thoughts, but how much do you want to do that, right? The music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy. This is pointing out something, and we have to recognize there is another verse of the Tao that states, like, sounds deaf in the ear, beautiful sounds deaf in the ear, beautiful taste or beautiful flavors numb the taste, and that's what we have to reference here a little bit. We have to look at that other chapter and say, well, what is this talking about when we say music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy? Well, I believe that that's referencing the previous chapter, even amid great pain. Right? Because great pain and good cooking arise from the same place, manifestation. right? On the other side of the manifestation is the Tao. And so this is how these two are related. Now, words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. So that relates back to the music. So words that point to the Tao. So when we speak, we can talk about the Tao, and it's not going to make people stop and enjoy. People aren't going to enjoy doing this. Just like Vita, right? She probably did. She probably in the long run, she will have enjoyed doing this. But in the process of doing it, she's like, those words mean nothing. Those words aren't, they don't say anything. They don't point to anything. They don't have flavor. They don't have. It's not great writing. But when we can absorb it, right? When we can absorb it, when we can understand it, when we can live in it, we can center ourselves in the Tao. We can go where we wish without danger. She perceives the universal harmony, even with amid great pain. See, that concept of you can be experiencing great pain without being in danger. The words of the Tao may seem monotonous and flavorless, but music or good cooking can stop and make you pay attention. So that's the thing, like, if something is making you stop and pay attention, do you stop and ask yourself, is it worth my attention? Or do you get caught up in the manifestation? So often, if we're not centered in the Tao, we can get moved by some things that have nothing to do with us and have no care for who we are. And so it's important to, like, yes, music or the smell of good cooking, like those are things we want to be stopped by. But that could also just as easily be hate or ridicule. I remember being younger and listening to comedians, and yes, I would laugh at comedians, but eventually I was like, wait a minute. The vibration of this, the message behind this laugh isn't what I want in my life. I don't want to be looking down on people and making fun of people. In my Recover Yourself work, and for those of you who are interested, I got a workshop tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central. You can check out my website and get tickets there. But one of the things that I talk about is this idea that, like, if you're triggered by something, that's a lesson that you have to learn about yourself. Many of us think, oh, I'm triggered, you did something wrong, and you need to change that so that I can feel comfortable. Well, the reality is that I was triggered. That's something that I believe, and I need to work on that for myself. And as I do that, as I learn about myself, I continue to grow. And as I looked at comedy and things that I even enjoyed, enjoyment can trip the trigger wire as well. We like to think that only when I'm angry is that a trigger. Only when I'm frustrated is that a trigger. Only when but no. If you are ecstatic, I interacted with some people here on Wisdom, and I helped them. I won't, I helped them a great deal, I think. And when I got off those calls, I was high. That's a trigger. And that's a trigger I need to look at, because I don't want to get high. I don't want to live under the influence of the idea that, like, I'm here to help people, because I'm not. I'm here to be me. And that may help people, but that's not what I'm choosing to do. It just happens to be what's happening. And that's important. It's important to be present in that moment, present in that trigger, present in the trigger, whether it makes us happy, whether it makes us sad, whether it excites us. If on the other side we are somehow high, and when you get angry, you are high because you're not aware of the things going on around you. And that's the thing. When we look for it, there's nothing to see. But when you look to be angry, guess what you find? Anger. When you listen for it, when you listen for the Tao, you can't hear it. But when you use it, it's inexhaustible. And we're going to use it right now to connect with our buddy, Catherine. Catherine, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm dealing with technical issues this morning, but
Oh no. I'm a tech guy. What's the issue?
I don't think it's one that you can solve.
Oh, darn it.
I know. It's with a new payment system.
Oh, that you're using on your site.
Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like if
If it's one of
yes.
the tech problems,
Yes.
don't you worry, mister. I have you on speed dial.
Okay, so do you have a number? This is going to have to do with your payment program. Let's go.
51.
51. I love 51. I don't know what it says yet. Every being in the universe is an expression of the Tao, even Catherine's payment system.
Come on.
It springs into existence unconscious, perfect, free, takes on a physical body, lets circumstances complete it. That is why every being spontaneously honors the Tao. The Tao gives birth to all beings, nourishes them, maintains them, cares for them, comforts them, protects them, takes them back to itself, creating without possessing, acting without expecting, guiding without interfering. That was one sentence, I just want to say. That is why...
You had no breath there.
Yeah. That is why love of the Tao is in the very nature of all things.
Well, you know what? First of all, what I'm going to say is, wow, that does sound like it's about the payment system.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It's funny because I did my kind of some readings last night. I to see what's happened, and I have this cards that I pull, and people I pull them for a friend. I don't normally pull on there, but one of the girls came up and she said, "Will you pull a card for me?" So I did.
Cards of Destiny.
No, those you can't pull those.
Oh no! Oh yeah, that's right.
They're mathematical equations.
Yeah.
It was a crystal one. She was like, "Whoa, that was so accurate." One was about grieving, and her friend had just died, and that's why I kind of feel like the Tao is so much that way as well. Like when you pick a number, it's so accurate for what needs to be either heard by everyone or spoken about, or one you need for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Like I was in a conversation yesterday, and someone was that I was talking to was getting a little riled up, and I just said, "Hey, let's take a break and pick a number."
Yeah,
and it was beautiful, and it brought everything down a notch. It was gorgeous, and that's why I love the Tao and having.
Yes, I do too. Okay, so let's break it down.
Let's break it down. Every being in the universe is an expression of the Tao.
Yes.
Yes, there's nothing really to say there. Everything is an expression of the Tao. That means the rock, the wall, your payment system, everything.
Yes.
It springs into existence unconscious, perfect, free, takes on a physical body, and lets circumstances complete it.
Yes.
See, I love this lets circumstances complete it thing. Because we are complete as we are. But as a child, every circumstance, every experience we have fills us with, depth, breadth, limits, all of the things that are going to complete the experience of life. And like unconscious, perfect, free, takes on a physical body and lets circumstances complete it. Like, yes, we are complete as we are right now, and tomorrow will be complete as well, even with all of these new circumstances that have happened. Now we are even more complete, but we're more complete, not any more than we were yesterday, because today is further along in this sort of linear timeline.
And I think of it as synchronicities.
Beautiful. Talk to me.
As you act upon what begins to show up, even if it doesn't look like it's the right way or the right direction, if you just lean into it, act upon it within a timely manner, those synchronicities just seem to fall into place. And to me, that's what those circumstances just come together. It just kind of comes together, and you're like, whoa, check it out.
Oh, right. And then there's a completeness
Yes.
for a time, and then you let circumstances complete it again. It's a
Yeah.
constant cycle
On.
of, yes, it springs into existence unconscious, perfect, and free. Like,
Yep.
that's the thing. Like, we are in existence perfect and free. We take on a physical body, and then we allow those circumstances, we allow those synchronicities to complete the whole. And
Yes.
it isn't even that we are being complete, but the Tao gets to complete itself in all things, because every being is an expression of the Tao.
Mm-hmm.
So then you align with all things.
When you align with all things, when you align with the energies, the path, you know, the circumstances around you, the moment to take action, you know, if you align with those moments to take action and act upon them, again, within a timely manner,
Right.
that is when that magic occurs that you could not have planned. It feels the impossible becomes possible.
So there are three things that I want to point out here. Like, one, every being is an expression of the Tao.
Yes.
Two, as an expression of the Tao, we are perfect, and we allow circumstances to complete our whole. And then at the end here it says that is why everything spontaneously honors the Tao, because we are separate and part.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so by allowing all of that to happen, by allowing our perfect separate conscious beings, right, like our perfect physical body beings, that separateness, we allow the circumstances of our consciousness, of our intuition, or of our spontaneity, or whatever, like, as long as we, being honoring the Tao, we allow those circumstances to complete the whole. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I mean, it's a written out way, another way of saying lean into your intuition.
Yes.
Very much of just that letting go. Sorry, 1 second. I need to scold someone. Luke Skywalker, get away from that. Sorry. My assistant was getting ready to chew on my microphone.
Oh.
Yes. It is so much about that, though, because it is hard to lean in. But when you do, you trust in how we are all connected. We are connected to all consciousness of all knowing, the knowledge of before and in the future of all things around us, nature, like everything. And that's when the synchronicities happen. That's when the path really lights up.
Yes.
And I feel like this describes it in the most beautiful way.
Yeah. And I think that, and I look at this, and like, when you say lean into it, there's so much that, like, why, how, what is this? And this talks about, like, the depth, like, you are part of the whole. You are
Mhm.
also separate. Lean into it, right? Lean into what you're being called to do by the whole as a separate, perfect body.
Yeah. And it's not always something that you know.
No.
Sometimes it's about something that's not.
Spontaneously honoring the Tao, which it says here, right? Like, that is why every being spontaneously do it. You don't preconceive it.
Right. And
You can't.
yeah, you can't. But the thing is, we're told to. We're
Right.
told to, like, I'm actually putting out a podcast on this about how we are told to stick with our dream, and we're told to just keep going even if, like, there's failure after failure. What if it isn't your path?
Right.
What if you are forcing yourself to be something that is just never ever going to be happen? It's just part of who you are, proving your determination and your ability to keep things going in tough times. But that's not your thing. Like, I'm 50. If I had believed when I was 11, when I started skating with a coach, that I would be in the Olympics, and everyone told me, oh yeah, it can still be possible, I would be, like, skating on cruise ships right now, still hoping to be in the Olympics. I've seen those people. I've met those people. But I was able to let go of that and know that it was just what it was. And I still got up in high school at 4 in the morning and drove an hour to skate. But I knew that it was for me, not for a dream. But I see those people who they still keep trying to force a dream down their own throat, and they're missing the signs of their purpose and their synchronicities and leaning into and allowing the Tao to take them where they're supposed to be. And we
Yeah,
often do that.
I always look at that as living under the influence, right? You're living under the influence of an idea that you had before. Is that an idea that you still have? Is that something that you are investing in today? Because if it is, like, but you're not really behind it, like it's hard to know, but because we can fool ourselves. I know
Other
that for a
people are
fact.
terrible at trying to fool us too.
Right. It is, like, and we could so easily, I was reading this in another one today, the one that hinted at this idea that, like, we can so easily be fooled by the smell of good cooking, or like we could go into
Yes.
something, like the manifestation of something can tie us to something that looks right but doesn't feel right.
Yes. Yeah. And also, are we following the falsities of other people? Are they like placating to you or
Mm-hmm.
just trying to like support you? I know you've worked so hard on this, so you can still do it. You'll still be, you watch those American Idol people who are horrifying, terrible singers. And, somebody in their life was still going, we believe in you if you dream hard enough, and all those stars or singers are saying, I just knew, I dreamed and I believed it. And so you have all this placating around you
Right.
and you have to listen to what's within you, your signs. We talk about this all the time, don't we, Mark and John?
Mm-hmm.
It's your path. The signs are for you to hear, not for someone else to hear and tell you. And when I'm going to touch on, if you outsource your intuition, they're not giving you information you don't already know. And that's so important in this one of don't force things to be something and don't allow other people to convince you to continue to force it.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Yeah, and then it goes on to this run-on sentence. The Tao gives birth to all beings, nourishes them, maintains them, cares for them, comforts them, protects them, takes them back to itself, creating without possessing, acting without expecting, guiding without interfering.
Acting without expecting. I don't know, enough said. I mean, I think
Yeah,
you heard me talk.
acting without expecting. And I like this, guiding without interfering.
Yep.
It's not trying to tell you to do anything, it's guiding you.
Yep. And
It's not gonna do anything to make you make that choice.
well, yes and no. It's not going to do anything where that you're backed into a corner and there's just
Right.
a single choice.
Right.
There are things that may happen
Right. That's guiding.
that throws you off course and feels like everything is lost for you to have an opportunity to be guided and realign to your path.
Okay. And I see that, and I think I think I just have a different take on, like, how those things come about, because I think sometimes, like, when you make a decision, like, let's say in the deep recesses of your body, you do make a decision, but maybe you're, like, fooling yourself into thinking that you're going to continue in a direction, and
Yeah.
then everything kind of shifts, and then you're, like, lost, and then it's like, all right, well, now that I'm lost, let me give in and move.
Yes.
Yeah.
That. And then there's those times when you lose your house and everything in a flood.
That's right.
And you're like, excuse me. And you can either choose to try to force yourself to go back into that dream or stop for a minute and go, okay, the world has stopped. It's time for me to look at things through a different lens. Maybe my path is ahead of me.
Yeah. And that is why love of the Tao is at the very nature of all things.
Boom.
Boom. Mic drop.
Enough said. Love you, my dear.
Love you too. It's always great. Good luck with your payment program. POS is
It all comes
important.
together in the end. You just ride the ride.
Yes, spontaneously honoring the Tao. Love
Yeah.
you.
Let Luke Skywalker.
So for those of you who don't know, Luke Skywalker is a dog of Catherine's. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Vita. We do have Mary Kay is coming up. And we always gotta. Hey, Mary, how you doing? You got a number for me?
Martin, good morning.
Good morning. You have a number.
Do I have a number? Yes, I thought about it. Catherine, wow, what a amazing young woman. And keep doing it. I'm 60 years old, make new dreams. It happened to me. And I'm
And your
happy.
number?
My number is 17.
17. Oh, that's covering 2 7 numbers today. We got 7 and then 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware he exists. Next best is the leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, amazing. We did it all by ourselves. What are your initial thoughts?
Wow. You know what I was reading this morning as I was getting ready and trying to make a payment? Uh, I've been up, I don't know, since 5, 6 a.m. I'm not quite sure. I was reading the sayings of Sparta. And that's exactly what it said. A leader, please repeat those words and guide me because my mind again has gone into, oh God.
Yes, no, I can
Thousands.
feel that. When the master governs, okay, so what we're
Okay,
starting with here is like when the master governs, and what the Tao speaks of when we talk about the master is someone who is in line with the Tao. So when someone who is in line with the Tao governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. And when I talk about governing, and when the Tao talks about governing, we have to look at it as the as the infinitely huge and the infinitely small. So like you may govern individuals in your family. You may govern your body. You may govern a school if you're a teacher, like a classroom. So when the master governs, the people are hardly aware he exists. What are your thoughts there?
when you are a true master of whatever you desire, whatever your needs are, is subtle. Should
That's right. You have nothing to prove.
you know we have nothing to prove at all.
No. And so you can
We
you
just have
can
a mess.
be right. You can be in the front of the classroom, and you can allow the students to learn and to be in a space. And I'm not trying to make light of like teachers' difficulties in classrooms. I mean, there's a whole system that is predicated on that. But when the master governs, the people are hardly aware of his existence because he doesn't have to prove himself. He doesn't have to be seen. He doesn't have to get
Because he's the
credit.
master.
What's that?
He doesn't have to prove anything because he's the master.
That's right. That's right. He doesn't need your approval. He doesn't need for
No.
you to tell him that. The next best is a leader who is loved. See, we've gone from the master
Master to a leader.
to a leader. The next best is a leader who is loved. So someone who leads and accepts like praise and like we love that leader.
A leader is someone that is looked upon, that could shape lives, influence others in an awesome, I'm going to say wow, because I've been saying wow all my life and not knowing, should wow the world.
Right. And then people will love him. But we look at this like it starts with when the master governs, the people are hardly aware it exists. Next best. So it's the best thing you can do is be unknown and be leading everybody, or be the master governing above, and nobody even looks to you like you have done anything, like you are just
And it should
properly
be.
holding that space.
And it should be that way.
Right. And then the next best is the leader. Just like you said, you wowed people, you impressed them, you proved something to them, and we love you for that. And
Okay.
that is the next best. The next best, and that's really good. A leader who is loved. We want that. We want to have a leader who is loved. That is pretty good in our world. But the best is still the master, because the people are hardly aware of his existence.
Yeah.
Then, after the leader who is loved, is one who is feared.
Well, when you are a master and when you are a leader, there has to be that fear factor.
Well, the master, people are hardly aware of his existence, so he's not feared.
But okay,
Next,
a leader
is the leader. Next is the leader who is loved, and eventually, maybe the
will be,
person who is loved will kind of fall into fear, because once he stops getting love, he may get angry.
and it happens
It happened, and
all
that's the
the time.
problem with loving people, because especially in this way of governance. Because once you start loving somebody that is in control,
Too,
the minute they make a mistake, or the minute they do something that may be deemed as irrehensible,
because
bad.
because some leaders, and it happens all the time throughout the world, will come on stage and they are loved and they are leaders, and then the fear factor falls in,
Yeah,
and they make a downfall. And you see, okay, guide me on this. Then the ego comes in and he is so loved that he becomes invincible.
right. I mean, we can look back, we can look back at times where, I mean, the entire country of Germany loved Adolf Hitler.
I know. I
And
was, I
then
swear,
very
I
quickly,
I
they
studied
learned
him
how to fear. He moved that into fear.
because he was, I believe, influenced by these generals that believed in fear, and fear, they taught him how to be this fearless leader. Also, it's important who,
I don't want to get into the
okay,
ins and outs of his
okay,
of his, because it's going to just get us
the
into trouble,
leader who
really.
is loved must surround themselves with loving people.
Yeah,
Peace.
and some people can
That's what.
probably be loved their whole lives. I mean, we look at like Cesar Chavez, right? He
Yes.
was a leader and he was
Yes.
loved. He was also, he did not lead those who hated him, but the people who loved him, like, and he was able to utilize that love to accomplish quite a bit. But then we look at people like Shea, who Shea was loved, and then he was also feared.
Hmm.
And the worst is one who is despised, and this is the depths that we can see like Hitler fell into, right?
Yeah.
He went from being loved to being feared to being despised, and now
Legacy is
his legacy is,
disgraced,
right. And I
despised.
mean, there are still people who carry his torch, but like for the most part his legacy has been pretty 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 defined. If
Yes.
you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy.
Um, I'm gonna um, I'm gonna. May I use an example?
Yeah.
My mom would start the day as I would leave. Not only my mother, but other people in my life. They would tell me, "Don't trust, don't trust, don't trust," including other men that I've worked with. And in my mind, I would say, I'm going to trust the worst person and I'm going to make them love me. and they became loving.
So I look at this as being more like, yes, I think I know what you're saying, and I think it's just coming. I think you're actually just expressing it in a way that's confusing for me. Not that
Okay,
like I'm sure
I don't want to do that.
I'm sure you know exactly what you're saying, and I think what you're saying is if you go out of your way and you don't trust somebody, they won't feel as if there's any reason to try to win your trust. And so they will stay untrustworthy. Like if you off the bat just trust somebody, and you will see in them and they will see in themselves something worth trusting. And I
Yes,
think that's what you're saying. It's like
yeah,
you can actually help someone love themselves if you
yes,
can trust them, if you can love them without all of the hangups of the things that you think you want in somebody. You don't have to dictate how they're supposed to trust, how they're supposed to love.
no,
You just love them and trust them for who they are.
yes,
Even if they're untrustworthy, you
yes,
trust them, and that's
yes,
okay. And I
yeah,
I think that's what you're saying, and I just wanted to kind
exactly,
of clarify that.
exactly.
Beautiful. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it all by ourselves.
But that is the master's job. The
Yeah, the
master
master
cannot
governs the
take,
people, and the people are hardly aware he exists. This goes right back to the beginning,
yeah,
right? Like that
beginning.
that concept of like when the
The
master
master
governs,
accomplished it.
right? But he didn't take any credit for it.
No,
And he's not taking any, he doesn't, what he wants is the people to know that they are valuable. And so the
yeah,
people come out and say, we did it all by ourselves. The value in the win is with the people.
yes,
And, and the value, the value that your partner has, like you want them to own that value, even if you were the
yes.
one that showed them they were worthy of love. They don't, like, you taking credit for that is not your job.
It
You
is not the
showed
job
them,
of the
right.
master.
You showed them that they were worthy of love because you loved them, and that set them on a path of loving themselves. And you don't need the credit for
No,
having shown them that. What you need is knowing that they, as an expression of the Tao, went out and loved themselves deeper. And as they loved themselves deeper, they enhanced the world that you live in.
and the master did its job. Did a
Right.
good job.
Yeah. The master always
Knew
abides the
it.
Tao. They,
The
they know
master
it, and
knew
they
it.
and they spread the guidance. They don't spread the lesson. The lessons are learned by the individuals, but the master allows the governing without having to take the credit, without having to, like, and as it says here, hardly aware he exists. The people are hardly aware he
So
exists.
there's the master, the leader. I'm trying to memorize because
Yeah.
I go
Well,
by.
there's the master and then the leader. And so there's the master and then the leader. And then there are different kinds of leaders. There is one
Yeah.
who is loved, one who is feared, and one who is despised.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. And the thing is it's funny, we can probably take that line that make them untrustworthy with loved, feared, and despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. So if you are loved and don't trust their love, then you make them untrustworthy. And then when they see that they are untrustworthy or seen that way by you, then you are feared,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you don't trust them. And so you will act upon that distrust. And then you make them untrustworthy. And then once you make them untrustworthy, what happens? They begin to despise you because they are now untrustworthy, where before they loved you. And so that's the progression or the degression or the relegation of one to the next. And it's all self-imposed from a place that started with a leader who was loved.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Kay, thank you so much. It's always
Thank you.
wonderful to chat with you. It's
Thank
always
you.
great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Catherine, you're amazing. Thank you. Wait,
Yes,
I'm trying
Catherine
to
is
leave.
amazing.
I am trying to leave. Just, I'm
Oh,
learning.
no. That's fine.
Oh,
We got 6
but
seconds. You're all good.
it's amazing. And I just downloaded.
Oh, she downloaded something. Cut you off. Downloaded my something. But either way, thank you guys so much for joining me for Tao of the Day. We covered 4 Taos today, and I love you guys. It is so wonderful to share with you. Once again, I am Martin John, the recovery mentor, and I want to always express that even though I am the recovery mentor, I'm not always talking about recovering from. What I talk about is recovering to who you are. Tomorrow I'm going to be putting out an email that is all about this concept of your triggers are your treasures. That's right. Every time you get upset, every time you get frustrated, there is something to look at within you that can solve that. You are not being, other people aren't going to change for you. No matter how much we want them to, they're not going to do it. I mean, eventually we can make it a law, we can make it a rule, but that's not how we want to go about doing things. So love you guys. Once again, I am Martin John. This is a Recover Yourself production, and it is Tao of the Day, weekdays, sometime in the morning between 7 and 10 a.m. Central Time. I come on here and I share the Tao with you. For those of you who don't know, make sure you jump on with me, pick a number between 1 and 81, and we will share the Tao. All right. Well, I work with, and if you know anybody like Julie invited me to be introduced to Millie and Vida, I appreciate that so much. Thank you for your support. If anybody thinks anybody can utilize my services or think about they just be introduced to some of the ideas that I put out there, please check out my website, martinjon.com, spelled the way you see it here, martinjon.com. And you can find more information about what I do and my approach to recovery and recovering yourself. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.